all four. So Arkadelphia with 2 outs again. They got things going last inning with 2 outs. We'll see if they can do it again. And now back to the top of the lineup is Tate Goodrum. He drew a leadoff walk to start the game for Arkadelphia. He was grounded into a fielder's choice by Pentecost. And so Tucker Guy will now take over as courtesy runner for Arkadelphia. Going to give Zane a chance to put his equipment back on and get a little break before he goes back behind the plate. And into the box for the second time of the day in as many innings is Tate Goodrum. Guy is taking a small lead from first. He's being held on. And there's a shot right at the first baseman. He bobbles it. Will he have time to get back? Coming over is Ritter from the mound, and the flip is made to get Goodrum for the third out. So a 2-out walk and a runner left on. Other than that, the Badgers go quietly here in the top of the second. And hopefully you're able to see the picture now from a little higher vantage point here than some. Again, nice facility here. Arkadelphia and Ashdown, similar in that they share a city field. We go to the bottom of the second now. Badgers still with that 1-0 lead. Back out onto the mound for his second inning of action is Carter Babb. Carter gave up a hit in the first inning, but no damage done other than that. Efficiently putting the ball into the zone, letting his defense work for him, and they did just that. Derek Hilton's going to lead things off. He's batting .348. He's the left fielder. He's in the 5 spot. Alex Kielbach, the center fielder, will bat second, and Leland Garrett is the first baseman. He'll bat third in the inning. Warm-up pitches now being doled out. Zane Hill takes his place behind the mound. Coach Chuck Cross, he is the head coach again for the Panthers. He occupies the third base coaching box. Coach Tyler Shepard, he's in the first base box today.
Leading off for the Panthers, left fielder number 23, Derek Hilton.
Hilton now will step up. He is the left fielder, .348 average on the year. Right-hander. Good-looking kid. Got a lot of lean machines out here. He's got a little more meat on his body. Maybe one of those Ashdown football players. First pitch just misses low. As he's right there on it, and Babb again with control today, finding the corners. There's a shot that's going to get right into Witten's hands at short. He fires across in time to make the play. 6-3, the easy put out once again, and Babb doing what he did the other day. And this time, so far, knock on wood, the Badgers are playing defense as they should. Alex Kielbach, he's the first lefty in the lineup. He's the center fielder for the Panthers. He represents the second batter of the inning. 1 down, nobody on here. Bottom of the second, 1-0 Arkadelphia from Ashdown. He squares to bunt. That one's going to just barely get fouled on the third base line. Tate lets it go foul, and Babb come over and may have turned his ankle a little bit as he come off the mound and nearly got to the third base line, and I don't know if he tried to hold up and turned his ankle, but he's a little ginger as he walks back to the mound. He's going to go behind the mound, and we'll see how this first pitch goes. Otherwise, we may need a mound visit to make sure he's okay. Looks like he's okay. He finds the outside of the zone against the left-handed Kielbach, and Kielbach is in the hole now, 0-2. Welcome, Chris Babb. How was the trip from Clark County?
It's a lot faster than the one we'll be back if that construction doesn't speed up on the I-30. No,
I'll tell you
beautiful
what.
Day, and glad to be down here.
It is a beautiful day. Good Friday tomorrow. Babb delivers the 1-2 pitch high inside. He had one to burn. He's Still walking a little gingerly on that ankle, and I can't help but think that he just twisted that ankle a little bit as he put the brakes on over there. He and Tate were converging on that bunt foul, and I just think that might be a little area of concern if it gets in his legs. We'll see. He strikes out the batter, though, with a high cheese, and back to the dugout goes Kielbach. Leland Garrett now.
Batting for the Panthers, first baseman, number 14, Leland Garrett.
And with 2 outs, and Babb may be a little ginger. He's not had any trouble locating pitches. We'll see what he does against Garrett. Back to the right side is Garrett. He hits one right under the glove of Tate Goodrum for a 2-out hit. It looks like everything today, Chris, has been 2 outs, and not seeing any 1, 2, 3 innings yet, but 2 outs. These batters want to come alive a little bit.
Yeah, Arkadelphia did a good job of getting those the 2-out base hit from Jarrett Bell in the first inning to get a run home, and now Ashdown's trying to do it with 2 as they go to the 8 hole in that lineup, I believe.
Yep. Batting in the 8 hole is Cole Spigner. He's the third baseman. He squares to bunt, and Zane Hill has a little bit of trouble getting it. He would have probably had him, Chris. It got in the dirt a little bit. He really blocked it up well.
Yep.
Over to his right side in front. He wanted to do that hen peck and couldn't get it on the first peck.
Yeah, tried to get the throw before you had the ball, and he's got a good arm. We saw that the other day. We've seen that in 2 games that he's played a catcher, and just tried to throw it before he quite had it. And so now that runner's in scoring position.
2 outs, 1-0 is the count to Spigner. Spigner pops one up on the infield. Not going to have room is Zane coming back. He gives it a look, and it's out of his window there of opportunity. So evening the count now, a ball and a strike. We want to talk a little bit more when this maybe between innings. We'll talk about this. Chris probably knows more than I do about the spring reclassification of these teams. Ashdown, a long-time nemesis and a long-time conference mate of Arkadelphia, still are a conference mate in football, but spring's a little different, and so we'll get into that a little bit more. I brought it up earlier in the broadcast, but maybe he can clarify some things. 2 balls and a strike now as Babb looks in from the stretch. That one almost gets in on Spigner. He's able to spin out of the way, so 3 balls and a strike now is the only real trouble that Babb's had as far as getting behind in the count. From the stretch now, runner at second base, and he comes in a pop-up that's on the infield. Where is it? He can't find it, and he's settling into it, and he does all the work himself. So Babb normally would be called off by an infielder there, but that was really one of those things that right in front of the mound, if you see it, go ahead and get it.
He did. He made the call, and he's hobbling off. Coach Lowe asked him, what's happened? He said, I just tripped, stepped funny over there on that third base line, as you mentioned it. But try to work that out during the half inning, and now you see Coach Lowe kind of just outside of your screen. Coach Lowe talking to the young freshman catcher, said it's a good intent. You want to be able to make that throw down there, but in order to do that, you got to have the ball. But yeah, a good way to get out of that one with the Badgers still holding the lead. You strand a runner in scoring position. But, yeah, you were talking about that reclassification for probably, I guess, about 3 years ago, 2 cycles ago, or the last cycle. The AAA went to a different classification system. You had football classification and then other sports. And so that involves basketball, baseball, softball, golf, a lot of things. And so basically, instead of having 7 conferences like there are 7 classifications like in football, they've made the classifications for the other sports larger. And so just like in our 4A7 conference, DeQueen and Hope are what people consider 5A schools in football. They're playing in 4A. Ashdown in our 4A conference is playing in 3A. And so it's kind of a different classification. It kind of messes people up and kind of think, why isn't this a conference game? But it's just the different classifications for football and then everything else.
Ashdown, only a town of about 4,500, so it says on the census. And so a lot like Nashville, they draw kids for their school district from a large area where Arkadelphia is kind of pinned in. Starting off the top of the third is Wynn Pentecost. Wynn hit into a fielder's choice in the first inning. And he takes a strike now to even the count, a ball and a strike. Wynn back in the lineup this year. He took the year off last year. Good to see him back in the Badger uniform and performing well. He fouls that one off down the right side, out of play. Count now 1-2 to the Badger right fielder.
Yeah, gorgeous facility here at Ashdown City Park. Head coach Chuck Cross, his crew does a great job with this field. It's always been a really, really nice field.
Base hit now right up the gut, and to start the inning, that's the way you get it started, and that's what Wynn Pentecost has done so much this year, and that's why he leads the team in hits. That's Wynn Pentecost. He's on at first now. Trip Campbell, one of the average leaders for Arkadelphia from the left side here, and he has power. One of the two Arkadelphia players with a home run this year.
Yeah, Tripp has power, and he can put it to any field. There's a huge hole in the left center field. If he goes with an outside pitch, this could be extra bases, but instead that's going to be a fair ball.
And it hits the back of Pentecost. They tried to get the force at second. And I guess he stepped on the bag first.
Yeah, he stepped on the bag at first, and then he tried to throw down to second base to get the tag out of Pentecost, and hit his helmet, bounced into shallow left field. But that was unfortunate for Tripp because that was about 6 inches from being a foul ball. I know he was frustrated after contact on that one. But regardless, he did advance the runner. It was a nice play by the first baseman, try to step on the bag and get that throw down at second. You see that in infield work all the time for first baseman. They just don't get to do it in a game very often.
Yeah, and he needed to throw that one to one side or the other, but he didn't. The first pitch is dinked off to the left side, and Tucker is not able to get on base, but he does move the runner to third. And that brings up the hottest Badger of late, and that's JB. He's got the only RBI of the game for Arkadelphia. We'll see if he can match it here in the third.
Yeah, you got a runner at third base. Good read by Wynn Pentecost. He saw the third baseman charging on that and kind of got a secondary lead, and then just made sure that the third baseman was still going to have to go up. He advanced to third easily, and now he's just 90 feet away if Bell can get a base hit.
Bell, an early pitch hitter, and he takes inside.
Was a good-looking breaking ball, just a little bit too inside for the umpire to call a strike.
JB likes the outside pitches a lot more than the inside, but he'll swing at early pitches, and look at the second one that's down in the zone. Left and right, east to west look pretty good. North and south, not so much. 2-0 now to the Badger left fielder. Pentecost not being held on. He's away from third. There's a strike taken by Bell. He gives it a little nod, likes the location. Hopes he'll come back there again. We'll see if Ritter goes to the off speed here. He's thrown 3 straight, and he does, and that one's just going to be tapped. Getting to it is the third baseman. Strong throw over to first in time. And one of the Ashdown players does a belly flop in the infield there. Not real sure. Whatever that sniper was that got Carter Babb apparently got the gesture, the shortstop there for Ashdown, because he went face first into the Ashdown, I would say Georgia Clay, but it's not Georgia Clay. It's more of an Ashdown Sandy Loam.
Yeah, a lot of you look out there, you see the good field. You know, I was listening to catching Jim Cross, the play-by-play for Ashdown. You know, he has a son, Austin, that played for Ashdown, now plays at Henderson State. He was involved, you know, played at Ashdown during the 13 to 15, 14 to 16 years. And they had a lot of battles with Arkadelphia during the middle of the 2010s, that last decade, where I think there was a span where Arkadelphia and Ashdown played each other in baseball 12 times over the course of 3 years, just between the regular season games, conference tournaments, because both were in the 4A7 then. Then you have district tournaments, that would be the conference tournament, regional and state. Of course, they met each other in the state championship game in 2014, but just a lot of good matchups between these two schools. Coach Cross at Ashdown was here for all of those as well when Coach Matros was coaching Arkadelphia. So two good baseball towns. I think these teams are kind of in similar situations. Relatively young, trying to feel their way out, be able to finish some games when you've been ahead. I know that in talking to one of the Ashdown administrators yesterday, he said, you know, we're just kind of there, but not there yet. And we've got some younger guys, and I said it sounds like these two teams mirror each other at least so far this year in the schedule. They had a 1-run loss to Prescott. Arkadelphia has a 1-run loss to Prescott. Arkadelphia lost 6-5 to Nashville. Early in the season, Nashville was able to get a win over Ashdown, so very similar teams.
Back out for his third inning of work is Babb. There's a bunt down to third base. Fielding it cleanly is Tate Goodrum, and he makes the little flip over to first base. Playing it perfectly was Goodrum from third base. He charged in. The batter, Lansdale, may have called his bunt a little too early.
He got waved down to third base by Coach Cross, got his arm around him. Tate was playing the bunt. Tate charged and played that perfectly. Almost threw it a little bit too lackadaisically over, but nice initial play by Tate to field that, and Coach Cross is still talking to the batter. Not sure if he called that one right there or not.
Coaching opportunity this year really put to the test for both of these young coaches with young squads. There's a ball that's going to get right under the outstretched and diving arm of Witten into short left field. So a 1-out single there. That's by Landon Rowe. He's the leadoff hitter. So now we go back to Ritter. Ritter's been on the mound all day for Ashdown and a pretty good hitter himself. Again, he's a .379 guy, got over 20 hits on the year. And we'll see with 1 out now, the runner getting a pretty good lead. We'll see if the left-handed Babb gives him and he does. The throw over to first has got him picked off if we can get it, and we can't. The ball sails high from first baseman Tucker Johnson, and he needed to put more mustard behind that one. He just kind of rainbowed it over there, and even if the catch would have been made by Donovan, I don't think they'd have put the tag on.
Yeah, another coaching moment there. That time it was from Coach Lowe. He stepped out to signified to Tucker, catch that ball, take a step inside just like a catcher would on a drop third strike. Take a step inside, and you can make a harder throw down rather than having to throw over the runner. That's an impossible throw to make.
It is. So now we've got a good hitter and a runner in scoring position, and he pops one into short right field. Going back out and letting it drop in between them is Drew Rogers and Pentecost. No one made the call, and it drops between the two of them. And again, Lowe going to come out there. That is Pentecost's ball. He's got to call that second baseman off. The second baseman ranged a long way back over there. Pentecost with a full head of steam. Drew did his job, and I think maybe having a little time off, not being experienced in the outfield as much.
Well, and also you're looking in the sun. It looked initially like Wynn was trying to find that ball in the sun, and that's when you holler to your second baseman, I don't have it, I don't have it, I don't have it.
Yeah.
And he may have. We're not able to hear that, but just got to work on communication, and now you got to try to throw a ground ball, double play ball.
Carter Day now, he's the leading hitter for the Panthers. He's at the plate right now. He's the big right fielder.
Don't want to leave it up in the zone like you just did on that one.
No, you don't. He's got the Wells Lamont work gloves on, and he hits the ball. It's not going to be a double play, but it should be one. He goes to second for the out. A run does score. The second out of the inning on the fielder's choice as Witten makes another good play there, flipping the ball, and it goes 6-4 once again for the out. The run does score, so the damage is done there, but you know, that run may have been prevented by a couple of coachable improvements that the Badgers may not make late in the season. So Jackson Jester now, he's the shortstop. He squares to bunt and pops it up out of play all the way back onto the seating area here on the visitor side.
The first batter bunt, and I think what Coach Cross was talking about is, you know, try to push that. If you've got a pitcher who's shown that he kind of hurt his ankle, and you're going to try to test him, see if you can put some of that, see can he field the ball coming off the mound. It looks like Jester was trying to push it down to that right side and try to make the pitcher come off the mound and make a play. It's a good thing to do. You try to bunt for a base hit, take advantage of what might be able to you might be able to create.
Babb in here with the second pitch of the at bat, and it stays a little bit high. Looks like he's not having any limping problems there, so maybe it's starting to work it out. He'll probably feel it tonight on the ride home. Here's the kick and deal. It stays high again. Could be getting into his leg a little bit early on, and this time of the season he's going to have enough stamina for it not to be a fatigue issue, but may still have a little bit of tingling in that ankle. 2-1 now is the count. He comes in and gets the pop-up. It's up high, and it's in a trouble area. And over to get it is, or trying to get it, was Drew Rogers. He tried to basket catch it in foul territory, and it gets right between the 1 and the 8 on the front of the jersey. Good play. He made up a lot of ground and right into the sun again, and that head bobbing from trying to cover all that ground, he's just not able to secure it.
Yeah, he had to run a long way. There's a lot of foul territory just beyond the bags here at Ashdown City Park, and he ran probably a good 30 yards to try to catch that one.
Just a loud strike, 2 balls and 2 strikes now. And there's a hard hit out to left field. That one's going to get past Bell and into the left center field gap. Bell on the hop, going to get it right in front of the fence. Another run will score, and so an RBI 2-out double is Jackson Jester.
Yeah, kind of left that breaking ball a little bit up in the zone and right out there over the plate for Jester. He hung with it, got around on it, was able to put that one in the left center field gap to the fence.
So Arkadelphia, again, has given up a couple of runs on foul balls and things that really a team that's going to win a lot of games has got to make. And, again, it jumps up to bite them, and it's been the story a lot of the year. And, again, Babb really doing his job. He's putting balls over the plate that are ground balls, they're pop-ups. And if a batter sees enough, he's going to be able to get a hold of it, and that's what Jester did. Big swing and a miss by Hilton. He's way out front of that one, a ball and a strike now. Jester's at second base. Run scored. 2 runs in the inning scored now for the Panthers as they take the lead 2-1 here in the top of the third. Staying up just a little bit again is Babb. Carter's not really wanting to bring that thing down into the zone, but I don't think he's got a lot of confidence in the off-speed pitch just yet. He throws fastball and stays out. You know, after Babb he's a good ball player, but he's still a sophomore.
Yeah.
That's young. That's you know, anytime a player hits the ball as hard as that young man did, he's not in a big hurry to get back in that zone. There's a ball that's popped up and out of play.
Good location on that one, low and outside. It was Hilton believing he just had to go after it. Couldn't do anything with it, had to foul it off. But, yeah, third start. You know, you got a lot of sophomores. You got freshman behind the plate, sophomore on the mound, sophomore, and the only senior up the middle, and then juniors at all 4 corners. So
it stays up for ball 4. So now runners at first and second. Second time in for the day is Alex Kielbach.
Center fielder, number 4, Alex Kielbach.
He has a chance to drive in another run here for Ashdown. We'll see if Arkadelphia can get out of the inning with just a 2-run deficit or a 1-run deficit. There's one that's going to find the hole, and it gets through on the left side. Up with it is Jarrett Bell from left field. He's not going to have a throw at the plate, and so a 2-out RBI single is Kielbach, and he just put it right where we weren't.
Yeah, he just went with that one and found the hole between short and third, and got that one where it needed to be to get that runner home.
With runners at second base, Arkadelphia does a little bit of different variations of holding that runner on between Rogers and Witten, and usually one or the other of them is going to somewhat be out of position. And there's a hot shot to third over with, and stepping on the bag is Tate. So the put out 5 unassisted for Arkadelphia ends the inning, but 3 runs across for the Panthers as they take the lead here in the home half of the third inning. And Arkadelphia will be back up here in the top of the 4th with a chance to even the score here. Back out for another inning of work is Blake Ritter on the mound. He's gone the distance, and now the winning pitcher of record if this score were to hold. Long way from over, though. We're not quite halfway through. Here from Ashdown, Arkadelphia and the Panthers out of conference. Arkadelphia dropping a heartbreaker on Tuesday to Nashville at home. Nashville always a contender to go to bomb, and Arkadelphia gave them their money's worth and all they wanted Tuesday night from the sports complex in Badger Field. Arkadelphia back in conference tomorrow night, Chris, at Hope, and there was some talk by Coach Lowe earlier. There might be a little bit of water on the field, but I would think after a windy, sunny day like today, that should be able to play that.
I would, yeah. If you can't play on the field after a couple of days like this, then you might not ever get to play. But yeah, as far as we know, that game will be at Hope tomorrow night at 5 o'clock. There was some talk about potentially moving that to Arkadelphia. If we find anything out by the time we get off the air tonight, we'll let you know.
Yeah, so please join us. We will be bringing that to you live tomorrow night. First pitch scheduled for 5 o'clock from Hope. Short drive down. If you could make it, the Badgers would love to see you in the stands.
Number 5, KD Young.
But if not, we'd love to have you here on the broadcast at ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com and your Mascot Media app. Top of the 4th inning, KD Young now batting for Arkadelphia for the second time. Ball is low. It gets under the catcher's mask and goes back to the screen. KD from long line of Badgers. Got lots of, been around the ballpark a long time as a young man. There's a big lazy hop to second, over with it, and up and away from the first baseman. He bobbled it. Second baseman right there, Rowe, he come up and actually had to make a pretty good throw. He made a little lazy flip, and it got out of the first baseman's glove.
Well, I think KD's probably a little bit deceptive. You think you probably have plenty of time, and KD, the freshman up there, for his size, he's got pretty good speed. He's got speed for any size, but quick, laterally, and he can get out of the box. You saw against Nashville Tuesday night, he had the 2-run double to right field, so he's got a little bit more speed than he probably looks like he has. Forced the second baseman to make a throw on the run.
Yeah, now he's going to try to steal second, and he's going to get around the tag. The throw was there, the tag was there, and he just simply goes to the inside of the bag and makes a baseball play, Chris.
Yeah, he did. He slid. He popped up and knew he was safe, and so he must have seen something as well. Went to the inside of the bag, hopped up, and escaped that tag, and so now Arkadelphia has a runner in scoring position.
Drew Rogers, the hitter now. He took ball 1 on that steal from KD. He takes another one low.
I don't think Ashdown was expecting that because neither the shortstop nor the second baseman covered the bag. They were watching Rogers with that square around to bunt. It was a nice throw by the catcher for Ashdown Lansdale, but a nice slide by KD Young.
Yeah, and Rowe, here's a shot to left field. It's going to be measured up by the left fielder. That's Hilton. He'll settle under it for the first out, and Rogers making contact now. He just can't find a hole, but it'll come. It'll come. Yeah, he was talking about that little dribbler there by KD. He hit it to Rowe at second, and Rowe came in, fielded it with his right hand, and when he looked up at first, KD was at the bag, and he kind of had a little bit of whoop. He flipped it a little bit quicker than he wanted to, and it got away from him. So KD now in scoring position as Donovan Witten, who can give it a ride, is at the plate for Arkadelphia. Back the fake throw, and it is a fake ball into center field, and everything is I didn't see the trucks pull up, but apparently the circus was in town.
Well, Ashdown got Arkadelphia on that a couple of years ago. He had a pinch runner, and that was at home, and so that's happened to Arkadelphia earlier in the season. It was not going to happen. It happens when you bring a pinch runner in who's not necessarily in the game all the time. KD's not going to fall for that. It's a good call that time by Coach Cross, but that is a nice play by the second baseman.
Shot at the second baseman. He bobbles it over to his left, has time to recover, comes up with a strong throw to first base, and they get Witten, who's no slouch, getting down the line himself.
Yeah, it was a nice play by Rowe to stay with that one. It was a hot shot, and he had to range to his left. Went off the heel of his glove. He stayed with it and pivoted, turned around and made that throw. Nice job of getting Donovan.
Zane Hill now in. He swings at a high fastball, and he's just under it. You know, we got one of our Badger freshmen at third base, and we got one of our Badger freshmen now hitting. It would be a nice little combination here for the two young men to play to run for the Badgers. Zane watches the second pitch get down and outside for ball 1. KD taking some instruction from Coach Lowe over there in the third base box. It is a teaching year. It's not a rebuilding year. No such thing in Arkadelphia. We don't rebuild. We simply retool, but it is a teaching year for a lot of these young Badgers.
Yeah, KD and Zane both made their appearance in the lineup last week during the spring break tournament in the win against Watson Chapel. Zane's done a nice job behind the plate. KD, nice job at the plate, and saw him play some third base. And so it'd be a good spot here with a 1-2 count.
And a pitch just misses outside. Watching it all the way in was young Zane Hill, and he gets the call. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. And there is a base hit out to the left field, and just what the doctor ordered, as Zane Hill delivers an RBI single here again with 2 outs in the inning. And all the Badgers up on the rail over there giving him an applause, and he's going to ask for a pinch runner, and he's going to get it. And again, that's Tucker Guy.
Thought he was going to ask for the ball. It's my first hit in high school. Blue, can I get that ball? It's my first high school hit.
I can't
in
blame him
my
a bit.
second at bat, I want that ball. Mama's going to want that ball.
I can't blame him a bit. Nice job there, and he's replaced by another freshman, Tucker Guy. So our young Badgers getting a lot of opportunity today. Back to the top of the lineup, here's Tate. 3-2 now, Arkadelphia trailing by 1. There's a good breaking pitch.
Well, that's a 12-6. 12-6. That just broke. Started up top, just broke straight down right into Lansdale's glove, and caught. Tate was not expecting the 12-6 drop on that one.
Ritter not one of the top 2, not one of the top 2 pitchers. He is, I guess, what you would consider a midweek, maybe non-conference starter. But that's a pretty nasty pitch right there.
That was, and he just threw it again, and Tate did a nice job staying on that one. He threw it the second time, and Tate pulled that one down the third base line. It was about 2 feet from being extra bases, but nice pitch by Ritter, nice adjustment by Goodrum.
0-2 now to Goodrum, behind for one of a few times you'll ever see with Tate. He's had to battle off a couple of pretty nasty pitches, and there's one that tries the inside again. Tate's not fishing.
No, that's another good curveball, 0-2 count. It takes a disciplined hitter to lay off that. It's a nice pitch by Ritter. Almost the one we saw earlier that the umpire's just not going to give him a ball and a half inside.
Leading off first is Guy, and there's a stay alive swing by Tate, and it's exactly what he did. That was one that you don't know how much latitude you're going to get from the home plate umpire, and you just got to hope for another fight another day, and that's what he'll get right here. Another 0-2 offering from the stretch. Ritter giving a little nod over to first. Another, and here comes a delivery. And Tate's going to get this one off the ankle and foul onto the left side here in front of the Ashdown dugout. Boy, that hurts. But Tate's a tough cookie. You're not going to show it. Not gonna show it, but anytime a baseball hits off that bat on that inside, that's why you see all those players with all that armor on the bottom of their shoe, on the top of their shoes. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Looking in is Ritter. He delivers down and away for ball 1. A lot of pitches here, but only 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tate.
Good plate discipline in the last 2. It's 2-2. Umpire calling 2-2 on the count as he flashes it up. But good plate discipline. That breaking ball that Tate saw on the 0-2 pitch was ball 1, so he did even the count at 2-2. Good plate discipline for the last 2 batters.
And there's a ball that falls off the table there for ball 3. So Tate running this 2-out count full now, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And so we'll see if Guy is moving from first on the delivery. He should be, and he is, and here's the pitch. And it's hit into right field, and playing it perfectly is the right fielder, Day, and he was positioned a little up and in to the left, and that's exactly where Tate any other time probably would have fell in for a base hit.
Yeah, that was good contact going the opposite way, going with the pitch, and that was a good contact by Tate. That's what you want to do, but that's baseball. Placement in the exact right spot was Day in right field, and made the play. And if that had gotten down and past him, it would have been a tie ball game, as Tucker Guy was at second base as he was off on the pitch. But unfortunate for Arkadelphia is that was perfect placement by Carter Day defensively.
You know, today is April 1st. A lot of stuff going on today. April Fool's Day, the first day of the mask mandated lift for Governor Hutchinson. Opening day for Major League Baseball. Listening to a little Major League Baseball on the way down today. Who's what's important about April 1st to you and heading into the month of April, Chris Babb?
You know, I don't have an answer to that question.
It's also Good Friday tomorrow, and obviously a big day on Sunday as we celebrate Easter Sunday. I noticed that a lot of the college, or I guess all of the college series for the weekend,
yep.
Thursday,
Friday,
Saturday.
Now, I will tell you this: you'd be hard pressed to find a better sports week than these next week to 10 days, with opening day of Major League Baseball season, the Final Four starting Saturday, going Saturday and Monday, the Masters next weekend, and so it's a fun stretch every spring, and just glad to be able to experience that again after not having any of those last spring.
Exactly. Cole Spagner now, he's going to lay down a bunt, played nicely by Babb, and he's just in time. Spagner with some wheels down there. The left-handed hitter getting out of that left side box a little quicker, and the lefty on the mound able to make the play.
Yeah, it's the third bunt out of the last 6 batters. Are trying to manufacture something, see if Babb can come off the mound. He did. Probably would have liked him have a little bit more urgency on that throw over to first, made it a little bit closer than it probably should have been. But nevertheless, come on, you have a nice position by the lefty of coming down, turning your backside to the plate, and turning around and having your momentum go to first base.
Marty Lansdale now stepping in. He had a big swing and a cut, no contact in his first pitch. There's a second that gets high and outside away from Zane, and 1-1 now the count to.
Sorry, Blake. I think it was important there in the top of the fourth for Arkadelphia to answer with something. You know, you're up 1-0 until the third. They're able to get 3. A couple of errors help those 3 out, but you're able to answer 1 back. So 3-2 looks a whole lot better than 3-1 and not having scored since the first inning.
Yeah, it does. There's one in foul play over to the right, giving chase and running out of room is Johnson. He won't get there. Ran into the fence. It is a pretty fair amount of fair territory, but it started getting narrow on Tucker pretty quick as that ball sailed a little further.
Yeah, it's outside the screen, but the fence probably has about 15, 20 feet out by the foul pole, and then it gradually gets bigger. But as you go farther out, it does lessen.
Lansdale going to reach out there, and he's going to stay alive with a foul ball reaching out there, popping it foul on the left side. So 1 ball, 2 strikes now, 1 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the fourth. 3-2 is the score. Ashdown over Arkadelphia. Ashdown will have the top of the lineup on deck.
Standing over that plate, see if you can bring something inside.
And there's a shot that's going to get right over into the left field hole and right between the shortstop and left fielder, in for a 1-out hit. So nice patient at bat there by the catcher Lansdale, and he'll be replaced now by Reese Parker. He's going to be the courtesy runner over there. And
you know, on that 1-2 pitch, that last ball that Lansdale fouled off was in the left-handed batter's box, and he adjusted his batting stance. He crowded the plate, and I thought Babb might try to start something out over the middle of the plate and come inside on him. Instead, he left that pitch too far out over the outer half of the plate, and Lansdale was able to pull that one into left field.
It's a hard thing to do, to come in from a left-handed pitcher into those right-handed batters. You don't want to hit anybody, and you certainly don't want to, and you don't want to give up the bag. There's a shot into, and he got him. There's a shot into right field, and Wynn Pentecost just throws it on a 2-hopper all the way across. It gets through. Nice job letting it get through. Well, I don't know if that was Babb or if that was.
No, it was Goodrum is at third, and Donovan had lined up for the cut, so you can assume that Tate probably hollered, "Let it go," and the Panther didn't help himself out. He didn't slide. You know, if you slide, you might get that call, but Tate did a nice job of catching that on the second hop and then applying the tag before the runner got to the plate.
So there is a single and what would have been 2 runners on, and now just 1, the lead runner, and he's back up to Ritter now, and Ritter fires one down the left side, foul and out of play. It's going to go down and rest right by the foul pole there in left field. Ritter, a really good hitter. And so now with 2 outs, Ritter going to lift one into left field. Going back is Bell. Is he going to have room? He gets under it. Can he see it? And he does.
The broadcaster was sure that he was going to make that catch, but the dad was like, I can't tell if he's going to make that catch or not.
That's exactly right. And he kind of looked like a baby giraffe for about 2 steps there. I wasn't sure if he was going to get to it, but he's able to make the play. So JB adjusting to life out there in the sunshine and a little further away from the action, but he's had his fair share of it the last couple of games. He's had a lot of work out there.
And you see him jogging off there as the teammates meet him at the foul line. A little good-natured ribbing, I'm sure. But that was a good stop by Arkadelphia. You know, Ashdown gets a couple of hits together. A nice shot from Wynn Pentecost in right field. Goodrum's able to make the catch, apply the tag, and kind of end a rally, and then you shut it down with being able to get a fly ball to left field. So Arkadelphia responds with a run in the top of the 4th, and they're able to put a 0 on the board in the bottom of the 4th.
You know, I kind of have to brag on JB a little bit. I was afraid he might be a little disappointed after being replaced, I guess, if you will, behind the plate. He wasn't having a real good run of it, and I asked him, and he said, Dad, he said, we've got another good catcher over there that needs to be on the field. And he said, that's exactly where Zane Hill is, and he's in the spot that he deserves to be. And luckily that JB's played a lot of other positions throughout his time playing, so he's able to help out anywhere he can. Wynn Pentecost, who had that good throw out there to end the threat, or for the second out and really end the threat because it got the lead runner in the bottom of the 4th, is going to be your leadoff man, or he's going to be your first batter of the top of the 5th. Tripp will be your hole hitter, or excuse me, your on deck hitter, and Tucker will be in the hole. So we start the top of the 5th, and you know, a lot of things we're talking about April, a lot of stuff goes on in April, and it is, you know, the Arkansas Razorback basketball team had a heck of a run. I really hated to see Desi Seals going into the transfer portal, but, you know, when you have a player as good as a Desi Seals that's leaving for no playing time, that says good things about where your program is.
Yeah, the transfer portal has changed college athletics.
It certainly has. The first pitch swinging is Pentecost down to short. He pats the glove, and over to first in time is Jester. 6-3 the put out, and
yeah, that breaking ball got kind of went on his back, and he kind of stepped out and lunged at it, and then so his momentum after he hit it, the slow ground ball to third base, his momentum had him going backwards, and so then he had to stop his momentum and get it, and that's why it was such a easier play to make for the shortstop.
And the shortstop is one of the better players, Jackson Jester. He's one of the better defenders on the field for Ashdown. You can tell he's very, very good at what he does. He's not going to get to that one, though, as it squirts up the middle for a base hit, 1 out base hit for Tripp Campbell, and he did a nice piece of hitting, taking what the pitcher gave him and putting it right back up the middle.
You were ready to say that as soon as it was off the bat, but Jester had almost an angle on that ball, but that was a nice piece of hitting by Tripp. You know, the Ashdown defense in the outfield is going to play shallow. They have been, and they've been shading Arkadelphia to right field. At least the center fielder has. What you don't want to do is try to see where those guys are and try to burn them. You just hit the baseball, let it go where it was, and that's exactly what Tripp did. He stayed hot. He's been really solid offensively for the last 4 or 5 games for Arkadelphia. Got to have his bat. He's a very good hitter. When he's rolling, he can hit for average. He does have the home run at Fountain Lake, so good to see Tripp being able to get going offensively.
Off and running is Campbell, and a little hesitation there. I think he thought that the pitcher wasn't going to go. He had committed to go to second. The pitcher could have got him. He really didn't notice him going. I don't guess anyone said anything.
That was just a different stolen base all the way around. An initial and then the delay still in the middle. But now Tucker with 1-2's got to protect. 2-2. But he's been the best hitter this season. He has a chance to tie this ball game with a base hit.
Or getting hit, he leads the team in hit by pitch.
Oh.
I think that is almost into double digits now as getting hit by pitch. Tucker leads the team, not only in average, but time of being hit.
Yeah, I mean, that between his shoulder blades have to just be bruised.
And he doesn't stand over the plate. He's a magnet. Here comes Bell with 2 runners on and a chance for more RBIs. That ball gets down in the dirt, and it'll be kept in front of the catcher, Lansdale. Nice job there of getting down and keeping it from the screen as runners from Arkadelphia occupy first and second with one out here in the top of the fifth. Badgers trailing 3-2. Hot hitter up in JB. And that one is, again, that was a bad hop for Arkadelphia as that ball hit the catcher, Lansdale, about 3 times. And
it did. It
stayed right under him.
Ritter just looked like he overthrew that fastball, threw it low. Nice job by Lansdale of blocking that one up.
We'll see if there's a hit and run called. Everybody on the field checking their wristbands for Arkadelphia, both runners and Bell at the plate. And here's the 2-0. It's down, and that one gets away. That'll advance the runners. And now, little different look here is Arkadelphia with a runner 90 feet away and the go-ahead runner at second base.
Interesting situation because you know where you are. One out, empty first base. So does the pitcher have an intentional walk to try to set up a double play, or you try to come right back at him?
And Bell, very patient, wondering if he was going to get the take sign there, and not sure if he did or if he just did it on his own, but he draws a one-out walk now, bases loaded, and here comes KD again.
Yeah, right before that pitch, Coach JB looked down at Coach Lowe, and he gave him a signal, and he nodded. So he got his instruction. Now, big spot for another freshman. You have a freshman with 1 RBI in the fourth. That was Zane Hill. Now another freshman comes up with bases loaded and 1 out here in KD Young.
And that left fielder's playing awful close. He's not really playing very deep. KD could get it over his head, and if he does, that could be extra bases for Arkadelphia.
Same thing with right field. You know, right field is where KD hit that 2-run double the other night against Nashville. And also, if he hits a lazy grounder, it's going to be hard to double him up.
Absolutely. And there's one that gets in to the backstop, but there is a new padded backstop here, and it is about 6 inches thick, brand new.
They're going to switch pitchers.
And Coach
Cross has done
it.
You know, that was a spring shot back. That must be spring-loaded new pad they've got back there because that took a shot and came back, and Coach Cross made that pitching change quickly. You go to the submariner. You go to the sidearm, Landon Rose. So in the middle of the at-bat, KD is going to be seeing not only a new pitcher, but a new look. You're ahead in the count 2-0, but it's a different arm angle for sure, different slot. Man, I tell you what, when we said we were coming down to Ashdown, one of the things, I know this will shock you, but one of the things I was hoping is they'd have that grill going down there.
And
right behind the Ashdown bleachers. Or those aren't bleachers. That's the seats, the stadium seats. Every time we used to come down here, they had the best smelling grill and best smelling burgers, and it is going right now, and that is not good for me.
It is not good for me. And we're actually in Coach Cross's office, and there is McDonald's sacks. I can smell McDonald's.
I've been hungry. I've been hungry since I got in here. Man, that grill outside. When we had, I think our Ashdown during that run we were talking about, they hosted a conference tournament, a South Region tournament, and then they hosted the state tournament. And those burgers are something else, man.
Well, I got a little money in my pocket, so I'll make sure if we might have to reserve a couple of those.
Does the Methodist Church get any money from those fundraisers from the? Does the Methodist Church get any money from those burger sales down there? Do they? All right. Well, we'll Jim Cross, the play-by-play, one of the best guys you'll meet, pastor of Methodist Church down here. Also does radio for Ashdown Sports.
You know,
very active in the community.
You know, there's just a community when you get around baseball that's just second to none. And everywhere we go, it seems like when we do the broadcast, and it doesn't matter if we're in a nice press box upstairs or if we're down behind the fence at a picnic table. Everybody around baseball is just very nice, and Reverend Cross there is one of the best, one of the nicest guys that you'll come across. He was sharing information and asking if we needed anything, and he's just been a pleasure to be around, and we're seeing that a lot in ballparks. KD now 3 balls and no strikes. And that one just got the outside. KD puckers his lips a little bit to say, ooh, I don't know about that, but he steps back in there. 3-1 now. That one is outside, and that one ties up the ball game.
Good plate discipline by the freshman. You know, we talk – it's a different situation. All these kids have been playing baseball for for years. You know, you played at different levels. They played in league. Most of them had played at some level of travel baseball. But when you put that uniform on for your hometown, it's just a little bit different. None of them played last spring. That's the case for every team, you know, but it's a little bit different when you have some new players.
Absolutely. Drew Rogers is one of those young men that's missed a couple of years, and you know, Drew's one of these guys that every weekend he's at the cage. He and his dad are throwing. He you know, I don't know if he eats, breathes, and sleeps baseball, but he thinks about baseball when he's not on the baseball field.
I'm just glad Drew's being able to play. I know he hurt in the last couple of years, and, you know, he hurt physically, but he was also hurt that he wouldn't be able to play and help his team. And I was just glad to hear this fall that Drew was going to be able to play.
And he's a good baseball player, and he deserves some luck here at the plate. So now with the bases loaded, 1 out, 3-0 count, he's taking all the way, 3-1, but he represents with a walk. Tucker down at third base would be the go-ahead run for Arkadelphia. And that one gets all the way behind him. And so not only is it a walk, but it's the game go-ahead walk.
An RBI.
Drew gets an RBI and didn't have to swing the bat.
Well, and you look, you know, this is the equivalent of a collegiate midweek game. You know, both teams have conference games tomorrow, so you've got to win those conference games. You're going to save your studs on the mound for those conference games, and so you're going to have your midweek and say you're in it. You got to try to get out of it.
That's what you do. Witten now at the plate. Bell's at third. KD is at second. Drew's at first. Still only 1 out.
Sure would like to see Donovan, you know, have a productive offensive at bat.
Yeah, and he needs it, and he's a guy that can put it into the, stands out there. We'll see. He's 2-0 now, and the Submariner is not able to. Rowe is not able to command the strike zone. As sure as I say that, he comes in on the inside half, but 2 balls and a strike now. Still a little ahead is Witten. On deck is Zane Hill. He had an RBI at bat his last time up, and that one gets inside a little too much for number 6 liking.
Yeah, that happened the other night against Nashville, too. You got to adjust at some point, step off the plate if you have to. You've got long arms. You can reach that outside corner if you step off just a little bit more.
There's a pitch that's in the dirt, ball 3. 3 balls, 2 strikes now. Runners will not be going, only 1 out. So
it's good plate discipline again. I said it. That's about the third batter in a row that you have 2 strikes. Sometimes you get a little bit eager, and Donovan did a nice job on that one of not going fishing.
We'll see how Coach Cross reacts as now a third walk is issued and run again scoring for Arkadelphia as Bell comes all the way around after drawing a 4-pitch walk to score what is the 3rd run of the inning.
Coach Cross still standing there. They're going to let Rowe try to get out of this one. As Zane Hill had had an RBI in the 4th inning, and he's up now with a chance for more with the bases loaded.
A little frustration out there by Rowe. He's obviously not able to command the zone, and so he's a little frustrated. You can tell he's starting to slump a little. There's a shot that's going to get down the line. Third base, it's going to score 1. KD's around to score. Coming in is Drew Rogers. He'll score. Into second base is Witten, and another RBI at bat for young Zane Hill.
3 RBIs on the day. He's got 2 singles, 3 RBIs in his first few at bats of the season. It's a great job. Good piece of hitting by the freshman Zane Hill. See, the Saturday when he got his first start behind the plate, saw Mom down there at the game. I said, "Is Dad here?" She said, "No, he's not. He's coaching a little brother in Hot Springs."
Dad's here tonight.
Dad's here today. Seen 3 RBIs. So's Mom. Mom was still going to want that first ball for that first hit.
Yeah, and Dad's trying his hardest not to smile. Mom don't care. She's grinning ear to ear. All right, here's Tate. He's going to hit one to second. This could be a double play here. The flip to second is in time for 1 out, and that's all they're going to get.
Yeah, Jester bobbled that one just a little bit as the ball was coming in his glove. Went to flip that ball to second to Ritter just a little bit too early, and that enabled Goodrum to reach first base. And now you have Donovan Whitten at third. Wynn, if you've talked about it, Wynn's been a good hitter. You like to see him keep that foot going towards the pitcher rather than stepping out. So if he can put one into the outfield and make it 8-3.
5 runs across, and he was getting his money's worth on that. He must smell those hamburgers too, because he was wanting one pretty bad right there. He wanted a Big Mac with that swing. Yeah, he's definitely he's just a born hitter. A couple of things probably to work on, and he knows that, and his folks know that. But he's in a big spot here. Nice crooked number up there for Arkadelphia here in the top of the 5th. Throw over to first is not in time to get Tate going back in. Tate hit into the fielder's choice, and he's occupying first base. Witten at third. Witten dancing off the bag. And again, he kind of flies out of that one in the quick. 6-4 is the putout to end the Arkadelphia 5th, but 5 big runs across in the 5th for Arkadelphia, and they take a 7-3 lead. And we're past the halfway point. Arkadelphia needs 9 outs left to put this one in the books.
Well, and this is a big spot. I'm glad Arkadelphia is in this spot, especially in a non-conference game. This is the third game, at least the third game, that Arkadelphia has had a lead over 3 runs. We've seen the team have several leads late in the 6th and 7th and not been able to hold those leads. So now you're in a spot in a non-conference game. You want to come through. You want to answer your 5, kind of like Arkadelphia did a while ago. Ashdown allowed Arkadelphia to get one of those back. Arkadelphia really needs, even after that 5-run inning, to come down and try to put a 0 on the board and not let Ashdown get any back here in the 5th and cut into this lead. But that's been a trouble spot for Arkadelphia so far this season. And you have a young team, see if they can change some things and make some things different that can come out and put up a 0.
Young teams not always stacked with power and speed, and that's probably a lot of the similarity between Arkadelphia and Ashdown. Ashdown only scoring in 1 inning, all 3 of their runs coming in the 3rd. However, Arkadelphia has scored in 3 different innings. Obviously, that last inning there, the top of this inning was the big one for Arkadelphia, scoring 5. But good to see the Arkadelphia Badgers manufacturing some runs, putting some hits together, and able to, score some runs on in multiple ways. We talked about them being a station-to-station offensive team. And they're continuing to do that, but just taking what the offense or taking what the defense gives them, not trying to do too much. They're starting to come into their own a little bit, and things are working out. Bab's back on the mound for a 5th inning of work, and I tell you what, for a midweek starter, a young player that's not had a lot of experience in varsity level, I'm very impressed with him. Not just because you're standing here, but I'm very impressed with his patience and his maturity out there on the mound and being able to handle multiple innings here.
I believe last week against the DeRidder Louisiana team, he said he threw a little bit over 90 pitches, and so he can go as long as you don't lose control. He can throw some more pitches.
And Arkadelphia, not a deep pen at all, and most of those guys in the pen, youngsters as well. And you're going to need them tomorrow night, and not having to use them much at all today is a big plus. 2 balls now and a strike to Carter Day. He's the right fielder for Ashdown. He is the first batter here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Arkadelphia 7-3, big 5-run 5th to start this inning, and Bab going back to work. He's going to hit that one out there to Pentecost. He gets a good jump on it in right field and has all day to get under it, sunglasses on, and makes the play look routine out there for the first out of the inning.
Hey, good job by Wynn. That ball was in the right center field gap. Being the right-hander, it was tailing towards Pentecost in right field. Did a nice job of blocking out the sun, finding it, and tracking it down and making the catch. It's a big one if you can get Day out for the first out of the inning with him leading off. Came into the game batting .479.
Absolutely. And, I just look out there right now and I see all but two of the Arkadelphia's defensive lineup right now were Copperheads. You're talking about the travel ball, and, the only ones that weren't were Drew, who was older than the Copperheads, and Zane, who was younger. Both of them played on their respective travel teams, but these boys have played together a lot, Chris. That's one thing that you kind of take for granted is, well, they only come together in high school, but these boys have played baseball together for a long time. 2 balls and no strikes. That ball gets away. 3-0 now. Bab behind in the count. Not done that much today.
No, you don't want to give up free bases. Now you're in the hole 3-0. You got to battle back. You got a very good hitter at the plate in Jackson Jester. He's not going to go fishing at anything, and so you got to come back here and try to battle.
Jester hitting .333, and he walks on 4 pitches. And so we've got a runner that is gone down to second base. And not real sure what.
Yeah, Zane just thought it was a dead ball. He looked at the umpire to try to get one, but that was ball 4, and he was off and running, and that's just a mental lapse. It's not a dead ball. It was a walk, and so that runner, Jester, took advantage of it and took the extra 90 feet, and that's not what Arkadelphia needed. With 1 out, you sure would have liked, and that's going to end up scoring the run.
It is. It's down the line about 4 feet fair, and Pentecost going over to get it. Into second base goes Hilton, and he has an RBI to bring Ashdown to within 3, and that's going to bring Lowe out. And he saw a little bit of monkey business out there, and he's going to try to nip it in the bud before it festers, and he'll bring his infield in. I'm sure he's probably not going to have the hook. He's probably just going to say, "Hey guys, let's change the mojo a little bit and get back what we started in this inning. Got a really good chance to win the inning, but we need some outs right here."
Well, and that that with that hit, that kind of takes Zane's probably feeling bad about that, but he's off the hook because that was most likely going to score Jackson Jester from first anyway, even if he had been there. Learning experience, and you learn from it. That won't happen again.
No, it won't, and you'd rather him figure it out as a freshman than as a junior, and that's one of the benefits, of having a young group that is learning on the fly here and having a chance to do it out of conference. There's a ball that's going to get foul, just enough English, and Tucker tried to bring it back fair, but it didn't. But either way,
yeah, that was a lot closer. It had a little cue ball action. It almost looked like it was spinning back towards the play. You almost wonder if Tucker had fielded that in fair territory, if he could have deceived the eyes of the umpire and been able to get that cheapie. But nevertheless, it was a foul ball.
Yeah, and right as the grass turns back into dirt, you never know what's going to happen, and it does stay. There's a shot that's going to get right over Drew, and now putting a couple of base hits together is Ashdown over to get it and scoring the run for Ashdown, and now 2 runs across.
Yeah, now you're going to have some now Ashdown gets 2 of those runs back. That's what we talked about in the coming into the bottom of the 5th. You get that leadoff runner out, and then something crazy happens, and you have to adjust. Then they get a couple of a double and a base hit, and now they're cut that lead in half, and you're right back. Ashdown has momentum and can make control, as now you see a couple of pitchers going out to the bullpen for Arkadelphia.
Another shot into right field. It finds that same hole again. Rounding second and staying is the lead runner for Ashdown. And so putting some hits together, that was Leland Garrett, first pitch hitting. And Cole Spigner now with 1 out and 2 on.
And Coach, sorry, Blake, Coach Lowe can't go back out. You got to make a change. And those pitchers aren't quite ready yet, but that ball is just being left a little bit too high up in the zone.
Here's a pop-up. That one's going to get out of play right over our head here.
But that one went high enough that it looked almost like a beach ball, and couldn't lay off of that one and fouled it back to the screen. But you gotta get that ball a little bit lower down in the zone.
Well, with the force continuing to stay on, with runners at first and second, and good infielders for Arkadelphia, a good ground ball here could spell at least 1, maybe 2, and Arkadelphia get out of the inning. Ashdown just been able to put eyes on the baseball and find holes. There's a swing and a miss for strike 2 to Spigner. Spigner, the third baseman. Big deep breath for Carter Babb as he toes the rubber again. Looking at the runners. Inside and blocked or hit is Spigner. It hit him on the inside of his left foot. And so now Babb had worked his way into a pretty good situational count there, but That one gets a little bit inside, so the number 9 hitter is Lansdale, and that's going to be the end for Carter Babb as the second trip out for Lowe. And we'll see which way he goes now.
Either be Ashton Cobb or Hayden Harper. Both of those went out to warm up. Not sure which one he's going to be able to go with or going to choose to go with. It's going to be Ashton Cobb.
So Ashton Cobb, the young right-handed freshman, will get the call from Coach Lowe, and Coach Lowe giving him a little instruction. Babb takes the slow walk off, and nice outing for that young man. He stays as the winning pitcher of record if Arkadelphia were to hold on. Nice job. He gets a little tap from K.D. Young. And I believe Babb is probably going straight to the ice bucket. So Cobb now has had several appearances this year as a young freshman. He's had nice control. He's had he works at a nice pace. He's good at holding runners on. Very disciplined pitcher. You can tell that he's been taught the right way and got some good instruction under his belt. Very promising young arm for Arkadelphia.
Yeah, Ashton's done a really good job. Not going to blow it by. He's just like the rest of the pitchers on this Arkadelphia. You're not going to see, high 80s or anything. He's got really good control, really good breaking ball. He changes the eye level of the batters, does a good job commanding his pitches. He's done a really good job. He has a chance here to throw a ground ball and try to get out of this and preserve the lead for Arkadelphia, but it's an Ashdown lineup that's gotten more and more confident now. They are seeing go from lefty to righty, and Carter got in trouble in that in this bottom of the third, leaving some a little bit too far up in the zone, not keeping it low. And if they do that, Ashdown's going to put it in play and make things happen. That's what they did. Ashton has a chance here to come in and regain control for Arkadelphia.
Ashton not the biggest in stature, but one thing that I notice about him is he's got a little bit of swagger. He's got a little bit of he's got a little bit of pit bull in him, and he's not going to be scared. He's not let the situation get bigger than he is, and he's just done a good job of controlling himself, controlling his pitches, and I think overachieving for a freshman on the mound.
Yeah, now you just got to be able to put it in play. The corners are in for Arkadelphia. Goodrum and Johnson both playing on the grass, the double play depth from middle infield.
And the 9-hole hitter is Marty Lansdale, and coming inside, not afraid to come inside, is Ashton on the first pitch. Nowhere to put. Ashdown filling the bases here with one out. And that one is not going to miss him as it squares up Lansdale in the back. And now we're up to the top of the lineup. Still loaded is Ashdown, and now only trailing by 2.
One. That's a 6 out there. 3 runs and 3 runs. It looks like a 5, but it's a 6.
It's a 6. So now, trailing by 1. So 3 runs across now, and Arkadelphia really needed to hold that lead. We'll see if we can get out of the jam. Back up to the top is Rowe. Rowe takes strike 1.
Now it's where the defense has to do work. If Ashton throws it and does his job, the defense has to come in behind him and make a play.
Corners are in for Arkadelphia in the infield. Double play depth in the middle. Outfield in normal depth. Shadows creeping across from left field and in to the lower infield. Here's the pitch. That one's going to stay up. 2 balls and a strike now. Things start to get a little bit interesting here for Arkadelphia in the bottom of the 5th inning. And again, the pitch is staying up just a little bit. Rowe, not a very tall batter, probably looks about 5'7", 5'8". Not a big strike zone.
Probably got the take on here with the 3-1 count.
Most likely, and here comes Cobb, and he's going to put that one just a little low, and so now the ball game is tied 7-7. Arkadelphia repaying the favor that Ashdown was so generous with in the top of the inning right here in the bottom of the 5th. 7s are wild here at Ashdown City Park. Ritter now, he's a hot hitter, and he comes up with a chance to really do some damage. The go-ahead run at third base. Ball is low and outside. Cobb having a little trouble finding the zone here, not wanting to just serve up a meat ball in the middle with the bases loaded and only 1 out. trying to find his spots and hit the corners and not getting the call. So here's the 1-0. There's a runner at third to look. And that one's going to get down for extra bases. That's going to be right into Bell. He comes up throwing. Only a single, so Bell over nicely to make the play and hold the runners to a single, but it's enough to score the run from third, move all the runners up. Bases still loaded, and Ashdown now reclaims the lead 8-7.
They batted around now. Carter Day started this bottom of the fifth inning. He was retired for the first out, but they batted around, and he comes back, and he's the only one who's been retired so far.
So we'll see what Cobb does to answer, and he comes right at the Ashdown hitter, and it hits him. No call from the umpire.
The field umpire called dead ball. The home plate umpire couldn't see that caught the back of Day's jersey, but the field umpire did call dead ball, and so put another one in.
So 9-7 now. Ashdown. We'll see how Arkadelphia responds both defensively the rest of this inning and then offensively in the 6th and 7th. There's another ball that's going to find a hole out there. One run will score. The runner's being held at third. So Arkadelphia, luckily, those base hits being held to singles, or it might be worse than what it is. 10-7 now, and all we're doing is exchanging bases with Panther hitters. Derek Hilton now is the number 5 hole hitter. He's your left fielder. He comes up, still one out, bases full of Panthers. 7 runs across now for Ashdown. So not only has Ashdown matched the run output, but they've taken the 2-run lead on it and a 3-run lead in the game. There's a shot that goes foul off the right side. Out of room is Pentecost. Ball and a strike now, 1 out here in the 5th. Pitch is low, 2 balls and a strike. I'd like to see Cobb come into that zone, but it seems like every time he does, it's popped into the outfield for a base hit. Trying to find the corner there and looked awful close, but he does not get the call. 3 balls and a strike now as Cobb is in danger of walking in another run. Big deep breath on the Arkadelphia freshman. He looks over the top of that glove, and here comes the pitch. And it almost, wow, that's pretty close, and Cobb just cannot find it. So another run comes across. 11-7 now. And that's going to be a visit from Coach Lowe, and that's going to be the afternoon for Cobb as he fails to record an out. And so we'll see Hayden Harper, freshman left-hander. Sophomore left-hander. Hayden has a save on the year. Has actually a conference save.
Yeah, got the big save at DeQueen. Also had a really good outing at Palestine Wheatley the Friday before that. He has a chance now to limit this damage and keep this at a 4-run deficit with a 9-run inning for Ashdown here in the bottom of the 5th.
Badgers trailing by 4 after they led by that many in the top of the inning. And so Arkadelphia, we'll see how they respond. We've talked about a lot of learning opportunities and growth here by a young team. We'll see how they respond. We had a very similar situation, somewhat similar at Fountain Lake. Arkadelphia took a nice lead and just gave it up all in 1 inning, similar to the way they've done here. And Arkadelphia really not committing errors or doing anything in the field out of place. It's just been hitting and timely hitting for Ashdown and some failing to find the zone for Arkadelphia pitching.
Yep, Harper's going to bring a little bit more velocity than the previous 2 pitchers. Got a good breaking ball. You just got to locate it. It's going to be a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Still bases loaded, one out. in this bottom of the 5th inning that seems like it started. This is the, I believe this is the 13th batter to come to the plate for Arkadelphia. Excuse me, for Ashdown in this bottom of the 5th.
Kielbach now with a 1-1 count.
14th batter.
Yeah, and still only 1 out and bases loaded. Harper misses outside. 2 balls and a strike now. Getting down there to the bottom of this lineup, this would be a really good time for Arkadelphia to get some outs here. As we'd rather not put some of these bottom of the lineup guys on, because the top and middle of the lineup for Ashdown can have a little pop to it. So.
Well, and they've gotten hot in these last, especially this inning, but the last time they were up in the 3rd inning, they were productive too. And so the last 2 rounds through this top and middle of the order has been productive for Ashdown, and Hayden does a nice job of coming back, catches that outside part of the plate for strike 1.
So sun's starting to really set on the right side of the infield and right field for Arkadelphia. There's a swing and a miss. And so now the count goes full. Still only 1 out. The runners should not be moving on the pitch. We'll see what Harper can do. And he draws a foul ball out of play on the left side, and Goodrum will run out of room.
That's why you try to get ahead in the count, or at least get 2 strikes on. If this is a 3-1 count or a 3-0 count, there's no way that Kielbach is swinging at that. But with 2, you've got to protect. You can't risk getting called out, and so it forces the batters to swing at balls.
And he again stays alive, fouling it straight back out of play. Hill gives it a look and gets another ball from the home plate umpire, and the battle continues here. Kielbach against Harper, lefty on lefty. Bottom of the 5th inning from Ashdown. And there's a poke out into left field. Charging in is Bell. He's not going to be able to get there. There's a ball that's going to be out at 3rd base. So a run scores, but the force at 3rd base. A nice throw from Bell. A nice catch from Tate. No way to get the runner at home, even though every runner had to hold up. Not sure if Bell was going to be able to get to it.
Yeah, JB had to run a long way for that one, and even if he does make that catch, that runner at third's probably tagging anyway. So you really exchange the catch for the force out. Is a nice play by JB after not making the catch to fire a strike to Tate Goodrum at 3rd base. Nice job by Tate of keeping his foot on the bag.
So now we've got a little bit of breathing room with not only with 2 outs, but with only 2 runners on, and the force still in play at any bag. And Harper's going right at. And that one's going to get off of Witten, a hard shot on 1 hop. He takes it off of his gut, and it's going to stay in front, but enough to get the runners advancing. But without the runner at 3rd base and another run doesn't score, it simply loads the bases now, and that will bring up Cole Spigner, who is the 8th hitter in the lineup, and I believe the 17th hitter of the game.
Lost count of the inning.
Of the inning. And we're running into dangerous territory, running out of hamburgers down there, and it's not going to set well. There's a nice pitch by Harper as he brings it in there. 0-2 now. He's ahead, and he likes to be in that position because he's got an array of pitches, and he can burn one here.
0-2, you go right back to that spot. The way he's standing on that plate and the umpire's giving that inside part of the play, that's going to be a tough pitch to hit.
And there is a swinging strike. So Harper comes in, a little bit of leakage there, but not quite the damage that could have been done as he comes in. But a big 9-run inning and a 12-7 lead for, maybe 9 runs. So a 12-7 lead now. Let's see how Arkadelphia responds. They meet out in front of the dugout in true Coach Lowe fashion. Everybody out, everybody getting the instruction. We'll see how they respond here as we go to the top of the 6th from Ashdown. Midweek game here on a Thursday afternoon, the day before Good Friday. A lot of folks off tomorrow. Schools are closed. A lot of the government offices are going to be closed. Stock market closed. Wow.
Well, Ouachita and Henderson will be playing sports, though. Ouachita has a doubleheader against Arkansas Tech tomorrow. I believe Henderson softball has a home series as well. All the GAC schools playing much like, they're playing Thursday, Friday, putting 3 games into 2 days. The doubleheader, whichever day they choose. Washita had a single game today against Tech, and they'll have a doubleheader tomorrow. I believe Henderson, can't remember where Henderson is. The baseball is on the road, but yeah, so beautiful weather weekend, and these Badgers will try to come back tonight, and then tomorrow night take on the Hope Bobcats.
I think a lot of what we may see tomorrow may depend on what we see in the last 6 outs of this ball game for Arkadelphia. We'll see what kind of fortitude they have, and if they've got, we know they've got some fight in them, and we'll see if they can bring it out today. As we go to the top of the 6th, Trip Campbell leading things off for Arkadelphia. He steps in against the Submariner, Landon Rowe. He's in for his 2nd inning of work, and Landon gave up 5 runs in the last inning. And he gets the call again from Coach Cross to come back out here, maybe because of the big output there by the Panther offense in the bottom of the 5th. A ball and a strike now to the Badger center fielder. Tucker Johnson on deck. JB in the hole. And there's an inside strike taken by Tripp for 1-2 count now. And looks like the Hope ladies are on their bus going home already, so a quick end to that softball game across the way. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Tripp as he looks to get things going for Arkadelphia in the top of the 6th. Here's the pitch, swung on and just got a piece of it back to the screen to stay alive. That was a little bit of a, not sure what that was, a little bit of a slider action almost from the submarining right-hander. Almost gets out of reach of the bat. And there's a pitch that comes in low. Runs the count full now to Campbell, who is leading things off for Arkadelphia here in the top of the 6th. Badgers trailing 12-7 here at Ashdown. Non-conference affair. There's ball 4. A nice leadoff walk for Campbell. And just like a leadoff hitter should do in the inning, trailing by 5 is get base runners on. There's not a 5-run play in baseball.
No, there's not. And, it's been the story all year. It's the big inning defensively that's hurt Arkadelphia, and see if they can try to string one together offensively. Although, they had 5 runs in the 5th, were feeling good, and then Ashdown exploded for 9 in the bottom of the 5th. Arkadelphia is going to have to string some base hits or walks together, or hit batters.
They're going to need 5 runs to just even things up here, and off to a good start is Tucker, as he's ahead in the count now. 2 balls and no strikes. 3 balls and no strikes as that one gets off, and the pitcher Rowe kind of back to where he was in the last inning, and that's not going to get very far with Coach Cross, as he's going to bound out of the dugout there with him on a mission.
He's going to change pitchers at a 3-0 count. And
in true Dave Van Horn style, all he does is grab the ball, motions. He's going to hand the ball to his left fielder.
Derek Hilton's going to come in from left field. Rowe will go to third base, and it looks like Cole Spigner will go from third base out to left field. Tough spot here to come in with 3-0 count, but after he takes the arm wrapping off of that left arm, Spigner will inherit 1 run, and he'll face Tucker Johnson with nobody out and 1 runner on, a 3-0 count. Hilton's going to stand in from the right side. Looks like it.
Coach Cross is not a man of not a lot of words when he goes out to make those pitching changes. He's got on his mind what he's going to do. He goes out there, motions, gets the equipment off of his left fielder, and back to the dugout. First warm-up pitch is about 4 feet in front of the plate. Not uncommon for somebody coming in out of the field, not having any warm-up pitches, to throw the first one. A little bit of velocity, though, a little more over the top, back to more of a normal arm slot delivery, whereas Rowe was that submariner, low arm slot, sidearm style. So, again, just a change in location of where the ball originates from, maybe a little bit for Arkadelphia hitters to get used to. But with a runner on and the best hitter for average on Arkadelphia's team ahead with a 3-0 count, I like our chances to at least get some things started. JB on deck here in the top of the 6th.
You mentioned it. Hilton does have good velocity. He, so far in his warm-up throws, has kind of struggled to find the strike zone. Had a nice one as he ends it, and left that one up a little bit high. But he's going to bring a little bit more heat than Arkadelphia's seen from the previous 2 batters. Tucker, you know, he's got a high baseball IQ. He's going to remember that he's up there with a 3-0 count, and you're probably going to see a fastball trying to come right down the middle to get a strike on the batter from Hilton.
We'll see what Hilton's done on the year. And I don't see, yeah, there he is. Okay, so looks like Hilton he's got 2 wins on the season, so 2-0 is his record. No saves. He's got 13 hits against him, 7 runs. He's got 14 Ks, so third on the team in Ks. So he's going to
throw strikes. He didn't there on Tucker, and that was a close one. That was a 3-0 pitch that Tucker was Tucker's got a good eye that must have been a little high and inside, and so now runners on first and second with nobody out, and Jarrett Bell steps up to the plate.
JB hits the first one to a double play first, and they rack him up.
No.
And bad call over first base. He was safe. He was safe by half a step, and looked like the field umpire was just wanting to rack someone up, and that did not sit very kindly with JB as 2 outs now and over to third base. You know, it was not a good hit. It could have been a double play, but it was actually not. Not even close. Ball gets by the catcher, goes back to the screen. He fires it back. Campbell not able to advance. No reason to get thrown out, trailing by 5. No reason to get thrown out going home.
Right.
KD looks at the 1-0 pitch and takes ball 2. So what started as a pretty promising inning here has gotten a little dark. And there's a very low strike. And I may not be the only one that's wanting a hamburger. It's like these umpires may be a little ready for this thing to wrap up. As a couple of
it may have been a
calls.
strike. You know, we don't exactly have the best angle. Did look like it was over the outside part of the plate. It just doesn't look like any of the strikes that have been called to this point at that part that low in the zone. Tough one to go against KD.
3 balls and a strike now to the Badger DH. Here comes the pitch, and that one's taken low, and that looked like it was more in the zone than the other one. But nonetheless, Arkadelphia gets the runners now at the corners, and Drew Rogers is the hitter.
Second baseman, number 18, Drew Rogers.
Drew could very well represent at least another base runner. He's very, very patient.
A lot of room on that right side of the infield. Second baseman playing right by the bag. The first baseman holding KD Young on.
Drew draws a lot of walks. Very patient. And we'll see here with a 1-0 count what he does. And there's a hard one to lay off of, and it's called for strike 1.
Yeah, it's a good fastball in the lower part of the zone from Hilton. He came back to even the count at 1-1.
Rogers fouls one off, and now he's quickly behind in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 runners on, 2 outs here in the top of the 6th inning. Badgers trailing 12-7. Non-conference game here against the Panthers on a beautiful day in Ashdown. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's rung up for strike 3. And the Badgers go quietly. They threaten but do not produce here as they put up a 0 in the top of the 6th. So only 3 outs remaining for Arkadelphia, and it's got to be a lot of work done as they have found themselves in a 5-run hole here on the road in Ashdown on Thursday, the first day of April, and it's been a beautiful day, and at times beautiful on the scoreboard, and at times not so pretty.
Yeah, the one big inning. You know, you look at that scoreboard, and 1-0-0-1-5 for Arkadelphia, and then that 0-0-3-0-9 for Ashdown. That 9-run inning is just what's come back to bite Arkadelphia, and that started with them getting the first out, the first batter out. You know, the first batter was Carter Day, and that led off the fifth. He was retired, and then it just went downhill from there. Carter Babb started the inning, got retired Day. Then you had a miscommunication in the outfield, and then actually it was a walk, and the extra base was taken on the walk, and then Arkadelphia didn't really have any more errors. They started about that third time around in the order. They're going to figure the lefty out, and that's what happened. They started getting some hits. Brought in relief pitcher, couldn't quite get it together and find the zone, and so now that brings in that was the story of the fifth inning. Just couldn't get off of that one out. You know, we mentioned Carter Day led off and made the first out. He came back up when the lineup came back around to him. There was still just one out, and so not gonna be able to hold many leads with innings like the bottom of the fifth.
Harper going to see the mound again for Arkadelphia. He was efficient enough to get us out of trouble back in the fifth, so now we'll see him again in the bottom of the sixth.
Number 3, Marty Lansdale.
Marty Lansdale now, he's the catcher and the 9-hole hitter, and then it's back to the top for Ashdown. So not to get an out here to start the inning. And going to work is Harper. He misses outside for ball 1. Infield completely covered in shade now. Only right field is left in the sun. There's a big swing and a miss. Nice pitch by Harper. He evens it up at 1-1.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it might have been a changeup. I'm a little bit blocked, but nice job of taking something off on that one. Put it right over that outside part of the plate.
The breeze has died down a little bit. The flags are limp. Another nice pitch and a swinging miss is Lonsdale, and Harper is dealing efficiently here in the the bottom of the sixth. He comes set to the belt, kicks and deals, swing and a miss. So three straight strikes after a ball 1 count, and that's a very efficient at bat for Arkadelphia pitching. Back to the top, Landon Rowe now. He came in, gave up a lot of runs on the mound. We'll see if we can keep him unproductive at the plate as well. Outside is the pitch. He starts off 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one just missing on the inside. So going outside in is Harper, and not able to get either call. Testing the waters a little bit, seeing where those corners might lend him. Here's a 2-0 pitch. Strike. So a little animation starting up over in the Panther dugout, and doesn't seem to bother the young Harper as he deals 2-1. Back to the belt is Harper. Kick, strike 2, swing and miss. And the leadoff hitter for the Panthers is now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes, and Harper's got him guessing and swinging through several pitches here in the inning. 2-2 pitch to the belt, kicks and deals. Just a little low. Full up now to Rowe.
Nice block by Zane Hill. That's a good breaking ball by Hayden. He started a little bit lower than he really wanted to, tried to get Rowe fishing, but it was a little bit too low. But good breaking ball. Started on the outside part of the plate. Zane sets up on the inside part now.
Here's the full count. There's a shot that's going to find its way through the left side and into left field. So nice at bat there for Rowe, and he wins the battle for the time being.
Yeah, it's a good at bat by Rowe. Good pitching by Harper. You know, he got ahead in the count. Rowe did a nice job of laying off a couple, and just won that battle. But good job from the pitching aspect of that at bat from Hayden Harper.
Ritter started the day on the mound, and now he's at second base, and he's the hitter. Throw over from Harper. The lefty keeping the runner at first. That's Rowe, keeping him honest. Nice to see Arkadelphia pitchers giving a little more attention to the runners, learning from some earlier mistakes in the year. Pitch stays up and away for ball 2. Carter Day on deck. Jester, the 4-hole hitter, is in the hole.
Again? Man.
Again.
That lineup turns around quick.
And there's a shot to second base, to his left, and up with it. And to first is Drew. 4-3 the put out. The runner advances to second base, but now with 2 outs, Carter Day the hitter. And he's a guy that's got almost between either 24 or 25 hits on the year. He started today with 23, and that's very productive for a high school this time of the year to have that many hits. He's hitting almost 500, 479, and he is the Ashdown hitter that you have to be most careful of. 2 outs now, 1-0 the count. Runner at second base, that is Rowe. And the pitch is going to be popped up into right field, charging in, making the play. Not able to come up with it is Pentecost. That sun, the only place on the ball field that the sun is still brutal, and it is still that way out there, and he just misjudged it and not able to secure it.
Well, and he took his eye off of it, looking down to see if Drew was close. And when he took his head off of it for a minute, and then when he put his head back up, didn't quite locate it to be able to make the catch, and overran it just by a step.
So another run across, 13-7 now. Baker's dozen for the Panthers as the runner is into second base on a 2-base error. Pitch inside from Harper on Jester for ball 1. So Ashdown not done here in the game as they played another run here. 2 outs and another runner in scoring position at second base. Here's Harper. Outside pitch. Again, he's going in and out, trying to find corners of the zone and missing a little bit. You know, there's games where you hit the ball well and it seems to find someone every time, and then there's games where you hit the ball well and it just finds holes. And Ashdown has found some holes today. They've hit the ball well. Arkadelphia's hit the ball well, but a lot more of theirs have found holes in the defense, and Arkadelphia's have not. Out to visit with Harper is low, and I don't imagine that will be a hook. That's probably just something that –
unless he's at a pitch count and they want to be able to have him tomorrow. So we'll have to – not sure what it is, but it looks like, it's going to be a pitch count for – a pitch count pull for Hayden, so he can still be able to pitch tomorrow.
And it looks like Tate Goodrum's going to go to the mound and possibly going in to play in the infield. Maybe JB, not real sure. Bell was called in from left field. And it looks like
Harper's going to go out to left field.
Harper's going to left, and looks like JB is either going to go out of the game or go get his infielder's glove and most likely go to the hot corner. And that's exactly what we're going to see is defensive substitutions for Arkadelphia. Back into left field and off the mound is Hayden Harper. Going in to pitch is Tate Goodrum, and looks like most likely going to third is JB from left field. Everybody else will remain the same. So a 3-player switch there. Everybody will keep their place in the batting lineup. And we'll see if Tate can put the fire out here. 2 balls and a strike. And Ashdown threatening again with another run here in the bottom of the 6th, and 1 threatening and in scoring position at second base. Goodrum with a little bit of bling that he's going to have to get off, put in his back pocket. He's taking his warm-up pitches, and he steps in against Jackson Jester. Jester, a .330 hitter on the year. That pitch there fouled into the dugout.
Blake, I think that may be the third pitching change today in the middle of the count. You can go several weeks without seeing one of those, and we've seen 3 of those today. Of course, Coach Cross did it twice for Ashdown. He was not happy with the ball strike count, and this one was just Hayden Harper getting close to that pitch limit, and Coach Lowe being able to want to have him for tomorrow.
There's a ball into center field. It's going to get down in front of Tripp, but he's held to a single. So runners now at the corners, and Hilton will see the plate again.
Pitcher number 23, Derek Hilton.
Again, just one of those, a lot of seeing eye singles that have just been hit, not very hard, just singles, not a lot of extra bases today for Ashdown hitting, just finding gaps and putting the ball where we're not. And so 2 outs now, runners at the corners. Tate finds the strike zone for strike 1 on the inside, and that's a pretty good pitch, hard to hit and hard to do anything with if you can get a bat on it on that inside edge. Runner off and running from first base, back behind it, pop up, and Hill is able to catch it behind the plate for the 3rd out. So nice way to come in and put out the fire. And Arkadelphia, with 3 outs remaining, needs to score 6 runs to keep it to go to the bottom of the 6th.
7th. That 5th inning kind of got us, Blake. Yeah.
It did. It just got us all. It got us all flustered here.
Didn't just get the Badgers; it got us too. But I mean, that's we talked about it a few times. I don't want to belabor the point, but Arkadelphia, it's the 3rd time you've had a big lead, and at some point, these young guys will be able to hold one of those leads and gain some confidence and get that off their back. But to this point, it's still there, and so at some point you're going to have to do it, and it will come. Just don't know when. But until then, you're going to have to battle through those.
Well, and a lot of teams will have that go-to guy in the bullpen that can just come in and throw gas or come in and shut folks down, and we've not found that yet. We've seen glimpses of it from Ashton Cobb. We've seen glimpses of it from Hayden Harper. We've got a couple of firemen, if you will, and folks like Tate Goodrum that can come in and throw a few innings, but probably never going to start a game, maybe a midweek game. Just that's something that's missing off of a team that, doesn't have a lot of power, not only on the offensive side, but on the defensive side and the pitching mound. But, that'll develop over time. These young men are sophomores. Even our what I would call our weekend starters are still just sophomores. They're big sophomores,
yeah, and
they're experienced sophomores that got playing time as freshmen, but they're still barely old enough to drive. And it's hard to come in here, and a lot of these guys are 18 years old that they're playing, and they're just especially when a year like this COVID year, and I know it affects everybody, but that the accountability is different for these athletes, and their minds are not on the same thing that they would normally be on in a game day situation of sitting through geometry class and going to lunch with their friends. Instead, they're doing who knows what. And so I
was always locked in on geometry class.
I was too.
But I actually had to be. The high school football coach was a geometry teacher. And you did not, attaboy, Donovan, take that pitch and get a good lead off. If you're going to get hit, getting hit in the jersey is where you want to get hit. But
of course, if I get hit in the jersey, it's going to grab some skin because I don't have a loose jersey. But either way, the 8-hole hitter does his job. He gets on base. Again, Arkadelphia needs base runners. They don't need fantastic plays at the plate. They just need good, solid at-bats and base runners. Zane Hill, he's had a good day at the plate. He's got 3 RBIs on the day. And he was wanting another one right there. He come out of his shoes.
That ball was a little bit up in the zone, looked like a beach ball, and he wanted to pull that one into left field by those jerseys that are hanging on the outfield fence. Nice eye by Zane on that one. You have a fastball come high and in, and then they set up outside trying to get you go fishing. That was a good take by Zane.
So the 1-1 pitch. Oh, it just bends over. Just stays on the outside black. Maybe.
It's one of those plates that has that 6 inches of black.
Yeah. So here's the 1-2. He's set up outside again. We'll see if, and it gets by. Down to second base goes the runner, Witten, and Witten not going to try third. He started to go, and hard stop sign over there from Coach Lowe.
Yeah, he did a nice job of rounding second like you're going to go. You know, you've got to keep that momentum, pick up your coach, and be able to go until he tells you to stop. Coach Lowe measured that one out. You don't want to get that first out at third. That run doesn't really mean anything if it's 180 feet from the plate or 90 when you're down by 6 runs.
Exactly right. And there's one. That one's going to get there and does not draw a throw. It doesn't mean that much to Ashdown either, as he's not going to risk sailing that one into left field. He just lets Witten go into third. Probably wouldn't have had a play anyway. Doesn't draw the throw.
That's a home field advantage. You know, that was a breaking ball, so it didn't bounce back off that plate as much. But if that had been a fastball and come right back to the catcher, there would have been a play at third.
Absolutely.
That would probably benefit Ashdown at some point, I would think, throughout the season, with a runner at second not thinking it's going to bounce off that far, seeing it that wild of a pitch and taking off, and would be unfortunate, but that's a possibility. I can see that happening.
That's a bungee backstop back there. 3-2 to Zane, and he watches ball 4 sail up and in. So just like he is supposed to do, is he's on base for the 3rd time today, and he's going to ask for a courtesy runner, and he'll get it in Tucker Guy. And Arkadelphia now back to that top of the lineup that has been streaky at best, but if we're going to see some chance of a comeback, that may just be where it needs to start. With nobody out and 2 runners on, here's Tate.
Boy, tremendous AB by Zane Hill, the 3-2 and laying off of that.
Ball is taken inside, not a pitch that you can do a whole lot with. Tate takes it, down 0-1. On deck is Pentecost, and Tripp will be up if he can reach. Here's the pitch. Runner goes, and there's a throw down to second, and it is not in time. Tucker Guy is in there with a little bit of an awkward slide, but he's in there just low enough on a high throw.
Well, he was, and he had to make that slide to the outside part of the bag with his left hand and swing around and hug it because that play was closer than it thought it might be.
Popped up on the backside of the infield is Tate. Ranging over is the second baseman. He's able to get to it. That's Ritter. And so Ritter with that very important out. The runners do advance.
Yeah, that was just –
or no, they don't advance. I'm sorry.
No.
Nobody advances. So still runners at second and third. Just an out, and that is not what Arkadelphia needed, was an out and no one to advance. Here's Lou Pentecost. We'll see if he pops it up. Similar fashion. Ritter going over, and he's going to make the play again. So almost identical pop-ups by the Arkadelphia lead-off 2 batters.
Wish we could have had some of those when that sun wasn't behind the trees.
Oh,
but
exactly.
That's just a good play by Ritter. You know, he's playing his normal second base position. He goes over behind the first base bag to make the first out, and that was a little bit deeper. I caught it in shallow right field behind where the first baseman would play. So Ritter makes a couple of plays, and Arkadelphia is down to its last out.
Tripp Campbell from the left side here takes a strike on the outside, and that one very questionable, but not
just
one.
have a feeling that strike zone is going to just gradually
grow.
Inch out there.
Tucker on deck if he can get on. There's one that gets by the catcher or back off to slides out to the right of Linsdale, and not enough to advance.
You're not going to win the game with a base hit here, but you just like to see Arkadelphia be able to put something together, get a base hit with runners in scoring position, and get it to the next guy.
And so 1-1, the pitch, and it is high to Tripp. And so Tripp now at 2-1 count.
I'll take it back what I said about the strike zone expanding a lot.
Yeah, that one looked awful close.
That was tough.
Good take by Tripp. And he fouls this one back, and Arkadelphia down to its last strike. Badgers have fought hard. They have scored runs in 3 of the 6 innings that they played today, which is one more. Well, the same, I guess 3 is how many that the Panthers have scored in. There's a foul poke out of play back to the left side for Tripp. He's staying alive now. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. 2 outs, 2 on. Arkadelphia trailing by 6. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And it's just tapped foul back to stay alive once more is Campbell.
Well, center field and right fielder are playing really shallow.
Really
Tripp
are.
has a natural pull to the right center field gap, and he could have extra bases if he's able to put one over the second baseman's head.
And he's going to get up and out of the zone. He had a pitch to burn. Runs full now. 3 balls and 2 strikes to the Badger center fielder. And Tripp probably been one of, if not the hottest hitter in the last couple of games. He's really gotten it done. There's ball 4. That's going to load the bases. And coming home is Witten, head first slide. He's in. And that.
He scored. He touched the plate, but he didn't see it because that's good running by Tripp.
Tripp goes around first.
Yeah, that ball was there, and Tripp did a nice job of base running there, taking that extra base. Donovan came home, decided to go to score, and he dove home, and that helmet came right over his face. I'm just glad he was diving right towards the plate.
Absolutely. Kind of a dangerous looking slide there. You hate for anyone to get hurt, but Tucker Johnson now, runner still in scoring position. Tripp in at leading off of second. Tucker Guy away from third. Taking strike for first pitch of the at-bat for Tucker, right down the middle.
Well, base hit would make this one 13-10 only because of Tripp's base running after that walk. That was a good read by Tripp, being able to take second base after that walk. It's just baseball smarts.
Strike taken on the inside. Tucker a little bit unhappy with that call. And again, Arkadelphia down to their last strike. You like the chances of Tucker, though, as much as anyone in the batting lineup being able to right this 0-2 count.
See where they set up on this one. You know, he's been struggling on those 0-2. It looks like he's going to set up and try to get it high.
Going to get high, and there's foul back, not high enough to take, and Tucker doing what he should and fouling it back out of play and living to see another pitch.
See if they, with the high fastball, see if they try to change his eye level and go down low and try to get Tucker down low. No, it looks like he's coming back high.
Again. That one missed, and might have been a good thing that the pitcher missed down low. Still just a 1-2 count. Still behind is Tucker in the count, and Badger still hanging on with 1 strike only to give. And there's one that's going to get by. Tucker Guy is going to easily score. Goes in head first. Now it's 13-9.
No, they're calling that a dead ball. They're saying that hit Tucker in the feet.
So Tucker's down to first base.
Yeah.
And looks like Guy's probably going to be waved back to third and Campbell back to second.
Either that or the umpires are going to talk about did it hit. The field umpire's like, I don't think I saw it hit. So let's see what happens.
Irregardless, Tucker's at first base and looks like he'll stay there. Looks like the run will stay on the board. Coach Cross is out to get an explanation.
Yeah, it's going to be 3-2. It's going to be the count, and the run will count. So it's going to be 13-9 now, and it's going to be a full count on Tucker as he comes back to the plate.
So we'll see if Tucker can survive another day. Kind of funny, Tucker gave his right foot a little shake there as if to say, that really did hit me. But I think the Badgers need the run as much as they need.
He's calling it down to 2-2, but that
was the third.
That's
that
the
was
third
the third
ball.
3-2.
No, it's 3.
3-2.
That's all right.
That was the third.
That's third one, but
third one that hit him. Would have hit him.
It should be 3-2, but he's getting 2-2. Yeah, Coach.
And he's caught looking to end the ball game, and Arkadelphia scratches and claws but comes up empty as the midweek contest between the old 7-4A conference opponents, now out of conference, Arkadelphia and Ashdown. Ashdown comes away with a home win here today, 13-9.
Yeah, it's 13-9 was the final score. That run from Tucker Guy made it 13-9 was the final score.
Well, folks, it has been a slim slice of heaven, bringing you Badger baseball. Too bad we didn't have the outcome we wanted, but we're going to be back at it again tomorrow night, and it counts for conference standings tomorrow night as Arkadelphia will face off with the Hope Bobcats from Hope. First pitch is at 5 p.m. You can catch us on the broadcast just a few minutes before 5 o'clock on ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com or on your Mascot Media app. Just keyword Arkadelphia Badgers, and you should hear us coming through loud and clear. From Ashdown, we're going to wrap it up and head home and get ready to do it again tomorrow on a Good Friday. For Chris Babb, I'm Blake Bell. So long, everyone.